Hey there, creators. Welcome back to Dear Creator, the YouTube channel focusing on creative and critical thinking. If this is your first time here, hey, my name is Daniella, and I'm on a self-awareness journey. I want to make sure that I learn as much as I can to solidify my message, to think a lot more healthier. I want to make sure that I can experience thoughts outside of myself, understand myself, why I respond to certain thoughts in a particular way, to nurture the thoughts that help me provide whatever it is that I want to provide to the world, quality way to better my relationships. And I believe it all starts with the communication, the way that we think, the way that we speak to ourselves, the way that we speak to others, the belief system behind the way that we talk. And so this is what I'm supplying to you all as an opportunity to practice with me. So I'm going to share a clip, and I had a guest on my podcast called Earth Experiences. I would say check out the full podcast with the link below. And while you're at it, go ahead and click on that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on all the fun. I've had a conversation with Daniella Young. She has a wonderful story, a very interesting story. She grew up in a cult, Children of God cult, and she expressed with me so much about that journey and what she took from it. Today, I just want to focus on a little snippet of this podcast where we talk about her definitive thought. And I loved what she shared here, and I want to invite you all to think with me. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to listen to her definitive thought, and then we're going to come back for a creative prompt, a critical thought, a creative prompt, a critical prompt, and one for our self-awareness journey.
So I'm Daniella Young. I call myself a scholar of cults, extreme groups, and extremely bad leadership. I grew up in the Children of God religious sex cult. I was actually born 3 generations in. So my family was, devoted to this cult and connected to the leadership. My grandmother was actually one of the first people to donate land. So that's how connected we are in this cult. I escaped from there when I was 15. I spent 6 years getting an education, high school and college, and then I ended up joining the US Army. So I've written a book, Uncultured, that is all about the cult experience, but also the military experience and the parallels of control that I found there. I have a master's degree in organizational psychology from Harvard, and I am writing a second book called The Culting of America right now. And the thought that I want to start with, that I believe very, very strongly, and this is like my anti-cult inoculation for people, is that there are many valid ways to live a life.
Ooh.
And I'll say a little bit more, because what cults do is they give you a million rules. Everything is black or white. You can't do this or you must do this. And cults pop up in times of social confusion because people are looking for clarity. They actually want someone to tell them what to do. And so a lot of times, even after we leave our first cults, we go cult hopping, because we're still being drawn back to all of these things and these ways that we were taught to be. And so it's actually like one of my mantras for myself. It's like there are many valid ways to live a life.
What a statement. There are many valid ways to live a life. And if we start to dig into this a little bit more, there are so many different angles that can be taken, especially when it comes to other people's definitive beliefs, where there is only one truth, there is only one way. And the way that is could be following certain guidelines, certain laws. There's another perspective that even in that framework where you're following one truth, there is freedom of choice. What I like for us to do is first, let me know what you think about that from the top of the dome. What are your thoughts on there are multiple ways to live a life, multiple valid ways to live a life? And I'm may need to put that quote on the screen if I misspoke. But what are your top of the dome responses? Now I want to transition, and I'm going to provide some prompts for us to take home in our journal. And I want to be clear that this is really for those creators who want to be more intentional about their message, those individuals who want to work on their self-awareness journey, and those who already know what their message is, but they want to practice seeing or receiving content outside of themselves so that they can better their argument by bringing in these perspectives in a more mindful way. So here we go. For the critical thinking thinkers. Considering the vast diversity of cultural, religious, and personal beliefs around the world, reflect on how your own background shapes your views of acceptable ways of living. Can you identify any biases or assumptions in your own perspective? How do they affect your understanding and judgment of different styles? This is a good question. Why? Because now we're going to be able to dig into, when are we biased? When are we making assumptions? What part of our backgrounds are really shaping the way that we view what's acceptable? From my experience, I'm thinking, is my Christian background, my upbringing, allowing me to look at the world to say, that's good and that's bad? Or am I simply just looking at behavior for what it is? And I'm not looking at a title of Christian or non-Christian, I'm just behavior. That's where I would start with that prompt. For those creative thinkers, imagine a society where every individual truly respects and understands the validity of each other's life choices, despite deep cultural and personal differences. What changes would need to occur in our current societal norms and values to achieve this? How would interpersonal relationships and community structures transform? So now we're getting creative. What does that look like? This is the moment in time where we take a limited thought that we may have adopted for a long time, and then we see a different perspective using our own mind. I've always thought that I could not do something. What if I started to think that I can do something? That's another narrative. All right, and lastly, for the self-awareness, you're going to reflect on a time when you encounter a way of living or beliefs that drastic, what emotions and thoughts did it evoke? How did it challenge or reinforce your values? What did this experience teach you about yourself and your own approach to life? Those are the 3 prompts that I have for you all with the inspiration from the video of Earth Experiences with Daniella Young. I encourage you to check out full podcast, see what you learn, continue to go on this listening journey with me to discover parts of ourselves through the stories and lenses of other people's world, not so that it can take over or have dominion over our thoughts, but we can encourage diversity of thought. Until next time, hold on to you as much as you can. Hold on to your health, your well-being, and your mind. Be mindful. Bye.